Hello from Rome. I was so tired last night after my day, I did not get around to doing my video, so I'm doing a summary of everything from yesterday. I just got to Rome, just checked into my hotel, so I'm gonna go over yesterday so that I don't forget anything, and then I'll go wander about in Rome for a little while, and then I'll do a video for today, later on today. So yesterday, another wonderful day, a really close to God day. Don't know if that was because I've just felt really connected the last couple of days, or if it was because the two tours that I had yesterday were very God-focused. I saw the Last Supper painting. I went to that church where it's painted, and I then went to the Duomo in Milan, and both were just incredible experiences. So I want, real quick before I get to serious stuff, the way that the buildings were in Milan was really cool. I mentioned in my first video that I was going to hold judgment for Milan until I saw more of it, and now that I've seen more of it, I loved it. It was great. It was beautiful. People were very kind. The food was delicious. And I love the way that from the outside, most of the streets just look like a normal street. And this was kind of in Paris too, but I didn't get to go in and see any of it. But my hotel in Milan, you went in through this big door into like a courtyard, and then the hotel was inside there. So I took a little video of it, so I'll put it in here because I just thought it was really pretty and cool. The Last Supper, and I didn't know this, maybe I'm ignorant and everybody knows this and I just was unaware, but the Last Supper is actually painted on the wall of the refectory, which I guess is where the friars at this church way back when in the late 15th century, 1494 is when it was started. It's on an entire wall. It's not a painting. Like Leonardo da Vinci painted it, but it's not like a painting like the Mona Lisa in a museum. It's on the actual wall of the church. So maybe I am just the only person who didn't know that, but I learned something new. And it's massive. It's a whole wall, and it's amazing. And I could have just stared at it forever, but they have very limited ticket sales. And if you get tickets as part of a group, you get to be in there for 15 minutes, and then they cycle you out and put the next group in. So it's like a whole cyclical process. So there's the giant Last Supper on one wall, and then there's a crucifixion painting by a different artist on the other wall. They were done very near the same time, but one took a lot longer than the other one did. 1 year versus 4 years, I believe, if the guide is what the guide said. Anyways, amazing, beautiful, wonderful. Took years to restore. There was all kinds of miracle stories around it because Milan did get bombed during World War II, and a good chunk of this church got completely demolished. They had pictures of what happened after the bombing, and miraculously the two paintings, those two walls, stayed standing, whereas the whole middle part of the room was completely demolished. So divine intervention, if ever there was one. It was really, really cool to see. The guide did a really cool description of what Leonardo's explanation for the different positions of the apostles was, and why their hands were where they were, and all kinds. It was really fascinating. They're in groups of three, so 4 groups of 3, and thinking and doing different things, and based on the biblical stories, what was going on at the time. And it was for someone who has been reading Bible stories forever. It was amazing. It was so cool. So ramble on and on and on about that. So then the tour proceeded to go into the actual church, which was beautiful. And it was right next to my hotel. It was literally like a 1 minute around the corner walk. So it was a great tour to have first thing in the morning, where I could eat breakfast and then wander around the corner and get there. Then we proceeded to head towards the big giant castle, which is massive and has now been turned into 9 separate museums for everything from furniture to art to sculpture, architecture, technology. This giant castle was converted into all these museums, so that was really cool. We passed by this subway station that had this sculpture that I had noticed the couple days before when I first got there that night and had no idea what it was, but then in the daytime and with her explaining it, is a giant knitting needle, or not knitting needle, but like sewing needle with thread. And so I was talking to Kelly on the phone about it, and I said, I have no idea what this thing is. But then when she explained it, it's quite evident. It has to do with Milan being the center of fashion. And so it's an actual sewing needle with thread statue. So that was really cool. The castle. Then we went to the Galleria, which is where all the fancy shops are, and Prada and Gucci and all those things, and the huge Galleria shops, which was really pretty, fancy restaurants. Then we saw the Duomo from the outside, so we went to the square. This was all part of my morning tour. So that was amazing. It was beautiful. It's the most incredible building. When you get close to it, it's crazy, but there were so many people, and they were setting up for a concert that's tonight. And so there was chairs set up, and they had like block off areas. So it was kind of hard to navigate around in the square. And I didn't pay too much attention in that morning tour because I knew that my afternoon tour actually was specific to the Duomo. So I got to go and see it on the inside, the outside, and even go on the roof and do the tour and the view from up there. So after my morning tour, I found this little shop, and I'm trying to remember what it was called. It's like chocolate, but in really fancy words. Cioccolati Italiani, something like that. And I had this coffee ice cream type drink and a pistachio crepe, which was delicious. And so yeah, that was my morning. Then I went back to the hotel and got some ibuprofen and rested up a little bit. My foot, it's like, I think it's fine. And then I turn around and it hurts again. So I'm trying to be nice to it today. I had it up when I was on the train today. So then the afternoon, then I had like a 2-hour break, and then the afternoon was specific to the Duomo, and it was incredible. I had no idea. It took 600 years for them like to get it to where it is now, and it's still being restored and always constantly worked on. But the different pieces of the building have been added on over centuries. And so when you're inside, there's actually parts of it where like, oh, this stained glass was made in the 15th century, and this stained glass was made in the 16th century. And so how it's able to have been compiled and built upon over 600 years and have many differences, which you can see if you look closely, but it's also cohesive. It's just absolutely stunning. The stained glass, each section has different stories. Some are New Testament, some are Old Testament, some have to do with specific books of the Bible. The Apocalypse is an entire stained glass thing, is a story of the angels and demons fighting. And anyways, all of it was just amazing. And then the outside, even the buildings, the sculptures on the outside are biblical stories. David and Goliath, Daniel and the lions. I mean, it's awe-inspiring. It was so cool. And then it's just made out of all this marble and different colors, and when you get close to it, it's so stunning. I could have spent hours in there. Unfortunately, the tour, you get a set amount inside the church, and then they take you up to the roof, and you get to see all the spires and everything. I mean, there's thousands of sculptures. I think 138 spires. I'm probably saying that wrong, but it's somewhere in that, like the sticky out bits of the Duomo. So yeah, it was an amazing day. Amazing day. My feet hurt so bad, like I said, after the morning thing, that by the time I wandered around the Duomo and done all that for a couple hours, I went and got a pedicure. And it wasn't even a pedicure like, oh, make my nails pretty. It was like a foot massage soak. Very like work pedicure, not necessarily pretty pedicure. So just went and did that and relaxed, and then went back to the hotel for the evening. I wasn't even hungry. I think my pistachio crepe and everything was sufficient, and my milkshake. I did hear from my new friends from the day before, which warmed my heart. They had a show. They were going to go see the Cirque du Soleil show last night. So they just checked in and said hi, and it was so wonderful to kind of have that friendship reiterated. I've said before that some of the people I'm meeting are just people in the wind. I meet them, say hi, enjoy company for a while, and then like Ray-Jean, just want to stay friends with that sweet girl forever. And then and these new folks that I just met, I just feel like God brought us together for a reason, and I'm really hoping that either I run into them in Rome, because they are going to be nearby over the next few days, so maybe I'll see them again here, or maybe we'll see each other back in the US. But there's a reason God brought us together, and I firmly believe that, and I'm really just looking forward to seeing what else he has in store for me in this journey. And I'm rambling, and this is really long, but farewell. I'll have a more Rome specific video later today. Bye.
La cattedrale, il Duomo di Milano. How big?
I'm gonna butcher the name if I try to say it, so I'm not gonna try to say it. I'll put it in a picture or whatever. But right now I'm sitting at the most amazing place where you can have coffee, ice cream, confections, and crepes and waffles, pancakes, gelato. It's like a dessert paradise with coffee. And I'm looking at the Duomo, and it is incredible. Finished my tour this morning. It was wonderful. And then that one was just kind of the outside of things, castles and churches. I did get to see the Last Supper, which was awesome. I'll talk more about that tonight at the end of the day. So far, an amazing day, and I just ordered some ridiculous looking gelato coffee dessert thing, so I will make a picture or video or something and add it because I'm really excited. Okay, the Duomo was everything that I wished and hoped for. It was amazing. Now I'm gonna have some gelato and I might go get a pedicure. My feet are killing me.